Let's start with Georgia. Let's bring in Rusty Mansell, Dogs HQ. Look, he's in the HQ bunker as we speak.
Hey,
so
in here, baby. I'm in here. I got you a hat, Newberg, if you want to come down and hang out.
I need one. Send it to me. Next time you're in Nashville, I'll get hooked up. Let's start with the Jared Curtis news. He's expected to sign with Vanderbilt tomorrow per Steve Wiltfong. Mm-hmm. Is there anything here Georgia can do? What's next at the court? Like, where do they go from here?
Well, first of all, we report from On 3 that he's flipped, expected to commit to Vanderbilt. I do think he's going to sign with Vanderbilt. And Jared says he hasn't talked to either staff yet. Tell him an answer. That was maybe an hour and a half ago. At the end of the day, I do think he's going to end up at Vanderbilt. Georgia's been in communication with him the whole time. Confirmed last night. Communication still with Georgia. And at one point, Josh, you have to tell one of the other teams you're not going, and that's just part of it. Hard decision, and you're kind of in that thing until you're not. But I don't know. Georgia's going to stay. I'm sure they'll talk, but this late in the game, everything is definitely, I would say, still trending toward a Vanderbilt announcement tomorrow.
Okay, so does Georgia need to make a move at quarterback? What do they have on the roster? Or do they go transfer portal? I mean, there are options here. So, yeah. But let's start at the high school level. Is there anybody that they've been keeping warm that maybe they could make a late move on?
I don't think so. I think they've been, on the Georgia side of it's pretty tough, man. You lose a kid like this late. You have so much time involved in this. Yeah, listen, Georgia had to beat Ohio State first for him because at one point I thought he was going to Ohio State. Then they beat him Ohio State. Then Oregon, they go head-to-head with Oregon for about 3 or 4 months. They win that battle. And then basically the last month or so, you go head-to-head with Vanderbilt. It looks like you're going to lose that one to the in-state, in-town school. I don't really think Georgia's in that market high school level. And to be honest with you, Gunnar Stockton, he's going to come back next year. You got Ryan Puglisi, another super talent. You got Ryan Montgomery, a kid that Georgia had to hope. Remember last year at this point, Josh, a lot of people thought Ryan Montgomery was going to Florida. And then he kind of ended up there at Georgia. So they've got guys there. They got a quarterback room. I don't think Georgia's going to be. Now, if they get into the portal market, I think it's going to be a guy that says, okay, I'll come to Georgia. I'm willing to sit a year to take a shot at winning that job after Gunnar Stockton leaves. I think that would be the only case to me. They like their young guys, but for this class in particular, man, they're in a rock and a hard place, especially at the end.
Craziness. This is why we follow recruiting. You just never know the twists and turns here. Jared Curtis committed to Georgia twice, and then now it's the day before signing day, and we're all expecting him to sign with Vanderbilt. Well, at least we're all watching a part of history here. Vanderbilt, I don't think they've ever landed a 5-star quarterback, let alone the number 1 quarterback in America. So we'll wait, see. Tomorrow it'll become official. We're expecting him to sign around 9 a.m., right, Rusty?
Yeah, I think it's would be 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central. From what I was told yesterday, he wanted to move this up. A lot of distractions, people trying to come by school. They're playing for the state championship on Thursday, so I can imagine how hectic it got. I remember getting an email long ago from Isaiah Crowell's school about 2 weeks before National Signing Day for Isaiah Crowell in that 2011 class, and the Muskogee County from Columbus, Georgia said nobody else is coming to this school. He's going to sign on signing day and make his decision. So I've seen it when it gets pretty wild. People just show up at school and want things like that. But listen, end of the day, sounds like all roads are leading for Vanderbilt to get a huge win right there to get Jared Curtis and keep him in town.
Yeah, unbelievable news broken right here on the Rivals. Well, Rivals shown. Yeah, me and Steve went live right after, but Steve Wiltfong did break the big news. If you guys haven't heard yet, that is what Rusty and I are talking about. All right, Rusty, let's turn the page here and talk about defensive lineman P.J. Dean. I mean, he's another one that Georgia fans got to keep an eye on here down the stretch. He's from the state of North Carolina, but it's South Carolina that's applying pressure late. What are you hearing?
Yeah, I mean, that's another one. He was at South Carolina this past weekend. I heard Sunday things were good with Georgia Steels. Late Saturday night, things were good. Monday afternoon, sounded like South Carolina things picked up again. As of this morning, I still think he signs with Georgia. But that's going to be one Georgia fans are going to have to watch. It's a defensive end out of Charlotte. And, South Carolina has really sold to him kind of what you recruit against Georgia. You're going to have to wait your time, and those types of things. But I think still Georgia holds on there, but that's definitely one that I am working on to kind of finalize in my predictions for later tonight.
All right, let's wrap this little Georgia segment up with some positive news, Rusty. Who could Georgia add to this class by tomorrow?
Well, listen, Tyreek Jemison's one that's been a wild one. Kind of a young man out of Paulding County High School is an interior offensive lineman with incredible length. May even wind up slipping in at tackle somewhere down the line. Plays tackle, I believe, in high school. There, you see him at Paulding County right there, just absolutely crushing people. I'll give you a quick history note. That field right there is where they filmed Remember the Titans, so you'll always remember that. You look at this, and he's one now. The Ole Miss staff that is currently at LSU, they have quickly tried to get on him and get him to LSU. I think Georgia in the end is going to hold him. I think his decision's around 9 a.m. tomorrow morning Eastern time. But, you never know. Like you said, you never know until they say it. But right now, I think Georgia's going to hold off LSU at the end.
All right. Well, it's going to be a busy day on Dogs HQ. Always is on signing day. Rusty Mansell, try to get some rest tonight.
Hey, man, that coffee's already brewing still.
All right, Rusty. Thank you. We will talk to you soon. See ya. There it is, Dog fans. How you guys feeling? Got to play some defense still on PJ Dean, but there could be some additions. Talk to me about Jared Curtis. How do you guys feel about the flip? I mean, obviously, it's disappointing, but what do you think about the quarterback position at Georgia? Who do you think is the future signal caller? Is he already on the roster? Talk to me in the comment section below.